which we have, and that's called integrations, scheduling, and immediate feedback. Okay, and for these reasons only, primarily we are using Jenkins. So when I say integration, means what? So you're going to integrate Jenkins with Jira. You're going to integrate Jenkins with Git. Git is already shown because the plugin was already available. Jenkins with SonarQube. Jenkins with Maven. Maven also plugin was available, so we used it. Jenkins with some other stuff also. So one of the integration which I'm going to show you separately, which is with the SonarQube, and something simple, similar concept will be there. So for example, integration. So the pattern is very simple. Okay, and step number one you have to do, make sure that whatever the integration you are doing, plugins are installed. For example, you are integrating with Jira, so Jira plugins should be installed. If you are doing the integration with Maven or Git or SonarQube or anything as such, you make sure that plugins are installed. So in this case, I'm showing you the demo for SonarQube from scratch. Okay, Maven I did it, Git was there already, so you'll not understand this. But SonarQube I'm showing you from scratch, so you'll get it. And then for second steps, what you have to do is configure the plugins. But remember that you need to know SonarQube much in detail before coming back and working on the integrations. Otherwise, it will not make any sense. Okay, so config a plugin, configuration a plugin, it's important. Okay, so you have to do that. So integrations, which includes plugins should be installed, configuration of plugin, and the third and last one, which you have to do, use a plugins in job. This is the last step which you have to do that. So let's try to achieve this. So for that, what I'll do, I'll go to first install the plugins in case of SonarQube, because I know that's not installed. This is the first step I'm doing. And here, these plugins, I'll search for it, Sonar. A few results has come, and I will read it, which is important. And based on that reading, I know that because this is the one which is updated 2 months ago. And look at this, there are some plugin which not been updated from last 5 years, 7 years and all. Don't use that plugins, and read it before that, whether is is important or not, and install it. So I install this plugin. That is the first thing. Now SonarQube, I do not have it. So what do we do in this case? So let me set up a SonarQube somewhere in the server. So here I will go to user, okay, 1.2, and if I see that last demo, I think I have shown you the SonarQube someone, and here it is lying already. So I'm going to start this SonarQube. So go to the bin and Linux, right, and start the SonarQube. This is the same SonarQube I used it in the past. So I'm starting in the SonarQube. So I have to pass the start flag. Now SonarQube started, so I'm going to use this. So let me open up a SonarQube 9000 port number. There it is. Just wait for a few seconds, it will take some time. You can check the status here also if it's okay or not. It's running, so it will take some time. So that's there. So SonarQube server is this one. Okay, please remember. And username, if I remember correctly, ADMION123 should be there because that's my favorite one. So done. So plugin installed. Is it done? Yes, this is done. Now second thing is configure the plugins. So how do we configure the plugin? So you need to tell Jenkins, in this case, where's log in the SonarQube. Where is a SonarQube? So how do we configure? So go back to the Jenkins here, and every configurations has to be done in the system, and install the plugins. So I will get this option here, Sonar, here it is, and then add a SonarQube. This time you can add as many SonarQube here. one is okay for time being, and username, and they require the token, not a password. So here there's some box, I know that, so I'll just save it once again and go back one more time. The saving is not allowed actually, so that is a problem. So here again I have to feed the token, so add Jenkins, and it should be text. Token is a text secret file, and here I'm going to get this token. So go to the my account, security, and assign SonarQube. I'm generating a token, and here it is. Copy, update. So this, okay. So here put this sonar, sonar, and add this. Done. And save this. Done. So now this configurations part, one part is completed. Now SonarQube is having idea. I mean Jenkins is having idea about the SonarQube. Now if you remember, the SonarQube required scanner also. If you know the SonarQube, so that is a tool actually. So you'll have to configure in the tool sections here, and here you see this option has come. Earlier this option was not there, but the moment you install the plugins, you will have this option. So that is way you can get it. So click on the add SonarQube scanner, and here scanner, and which version you want. I'll go for the anything and save it. Done. So this configuration is also done. Now next one is using the plugins in job. How do we use that plug? So let's go to the dashboard, go to the my projects, and here under the build section I'm going to create one more. Under the dev section I'm going to create one more job, new job, and this I'll call it scan. Install projects and click OK. And here source code management, I need to have some source code. So I have some source code which is sample one, which I used in the sonar session also, if you remember this project. So I'm using this one, and git, and build triggers I will weekly. You can set up a different cron also, but that's okay. Build environment, delete the workspace again and again. Build steps, here is important, you have to run the scanner. See here. So earlier this option was not there. The moment you install the plugin, all these options will come. So under the build, execute the scanner, and these are the some of the options. Leave it as it is, and then if you want to set up a feedback or something like that, do that and save it. And now you see that one icon is not linked. We have to build it. And now Jenkins will scan your code every week, and it is automated. So now, did you understand that how can we automate and integrate with the different tools? Theory of it, all of you.
Yeah,
Aishwarya.
Rajesh.
Yes.
Okay, so just wait for a few seconds. This got failed. We'll have to check the console output. And here, if I see, it's a problem with the username and password. So let me set the username and password, and either you set the this property or set this property. Both are okay. So how I'm going to pass this? Go to the scan. Go to the edit this job. Go to the build steps. Here I am going to set up the property which is here is equal to this one. Save it one more time and build now. So this is the integrations. And now if you see that again it's got failed, and it got failed. Okay, why is not picking up? Click on update. Okay, let me check. Is there? Okay, I will troubleshoot later, but I will use the username and password, and SonarQube user is equal to admin sonar dot password equal to admin 123. And sorry, this is the there's a problem in this, not user login and password. This should work actually, and build now. So that authentication issues which was getting earlier should not come now. Yeah, it worked. So now we have integrated. But you know what? This integrations we did at the tool level. If you remember the discussion, I did Jenkins integration with the tools. Okay, and tools once you do automatically will get integrated with the phases. But how about each phases? You know, build this. How can you integrate? Okay, so this options I'll talk about in immediate feedback. This I'll talk about in a few minutes. Okay, so this is the integrations, one of the example for integrations. Now I'm going to talk about what are the options which we have in Jenkins for scheduling. So that I would like to talk about it. I have created one very good tutorial for it, and this you must check it out. And for that, check this here, this tutorial. And whatever the options you have in Jenkins, I have mentioned in this tutorial actually. I want to talk about this one here. So one of the options which we have in Jenkins to schedule the job is at certain times. I mean, you want to schedule the job at certain times, and for that you have to use one option which is called build periodically. In fact, we have used these options already. Let me show you. So go to the here and create one job, new item. I'm creating a job one, freestyle project, click OK. And here if you see, go to the scheduling, triggering option, build periodically this one. Here there's a tutorials for it, all this thing. So here you can fix this at a time. This is the cron tab. If you're not sure how to learn about the cron, here you have a complete tutorials for it, which will talk about the cron tab. So this will talk about the build periodically. So you can set at a certain time, and that at the time build will automatically trigger and then do the work. But you know what? Let's say you don't want to do this build until there is a SCM change. SCM change means code change. Then what to use? In that case, you have to use the second option, and that is called you want to build at a certain time. That's okay, but build should happen only if there is a code changes. Okay, only when there is a code changes. So that option we call it pull SCM in Jenkins. Where is that? Here it is. See here. So these options again is like you have to set the cron, but difference between the poll SCM and the build periodically is you will poll SCM build periodically will build at any cost at that time. It will trigger the build, but poll SCM will only schedule the build at the time if there is a code changes. Okay, so let's say if you say hourly. Okay, hourly. That means it will try to build every hour. So you see the automatically time changes here. So hourly, it will try to build every hour. But the problem is here it will check the code changes. So here if you see that changes, here if there is a code changes, then only it will build. Okay, so that is something which we have to understand the difference between PoleSCM and this one. Third options which we have is trigger using command line or a script. And for that, you can enable this one. Here it is. Trigger build remotely, example from the script. Okay. So how do you do that? So let me trigger this job. So uh, just a second, let me enable that options here, save it, done. So this is the job, okay, job one, this URL. I want to trigger this job through UI. So I mean through command line. So how do you do that? So let's say go to this tutorial and open up this tutorial, and there's a lots of information, you have it, you can read it, but this will be sufficient for you. So here, this one, this is the curl request. You are making post username Rajesh, and this is the token for Rajesh. So what is username and token? So here you can generate the token Rajesh configure credential, and here API token. This is Jenkins, okay, and generate, and here done. I put it up this way, and let me save this so that it will not be stored actually. Save it. Yeah. And now this is the URL for the job. So how do we do that? So let me go to the home page, job, and this is the URL. So carefully you replace this with this one. So, yeah. So this is an important one. Remember to build. This is the URL for the job. This is the access for the Jovano, and let me go and hit it. So enter, and there's a authorization issues. How come? Hmm, let me try to, because I copy paste, and here this is authorization issue. So I need to check whether Rajesh Kumar the one which you have it. Configurations, and never used it. So let me delete this. Add new token. Jane generate copy. So and let me paste it. Why it's not copy? Oh, I think this is the copy issues. Done. And I'll go here and configure it, and I'll save this also. Okay, and should be okay now. Rajesh is the username, and enter. Yeah, done. So here now let me see that job one. You see, one build has happened, right? Now I'll trigger second build. Enter. Wait. Again authorization. Okay. Okay. Enter. Done. Second build, third build, fourth build, fifth build. So many builds I trigger, and let me show you. Refresh, see, fifth build has come. So this is the way you can use that using method 3. Now if this one trigger this job if others are is triggered. So this situation, if when you want, then in this case trigger this job if other jobs are triggered. That means what you have to do, let me show you. So there is a job one, let me edit this. There's nothing as such right now. Okay, so what I want the trigger job one when the other jobs are triggered. So let me create one more job. Okay, so here I'm creating one job two. Okay, freestyle, click OK, save it. So job two I did not configure anything. What I'm saying, job two if the moment someone somehow does get triggered, the job one should also trigger after that. So I'm going to set up in the job one, build triggers, and that option which you can use it, this one, build after other projects are built. So here you set up a job one. Okay. That means the moment the job one is built, this job will be automatically triggered. So here, refresh this, you see upstream and downstream is set for the job one. Okay, my bad. I have to set up a job two, right? That was a mistake. So here job two, because I'm creating a circular dependencies. Here it is. So upstream job two, and that means if somehow it triggers job two, automatically job one will be triggered. So if you see that job one last build has happened 5. So now let me go and trigger the job two. I'm triggering the job two, which is not built so far, build now. And you see, I triggered 2 times by mistake. And let me go and see that, see, job one, job 6 has come. So this is the one of the situation when you arise, you have this one. Now these two are interrelated, both are same. Only the difference is one is for Bitbucket and one for GitHub. So both the scenario is same, and for that you are going to use this option, GitHub hook trigger for SCM pooling, which you can find. Let me show you this. Go to the any job and go to the trigger options. Here, this one. Okay. So what is happening in this case? Trigger a job. Okay. When there is a push into GitHub or Bitbucket or GitLab or anything. I mean, we have so many options, right? So you want to trigger a job when there is a push into the GitHub. So I think we need to understand this flow, which is important. You probably want to do that. So let's discuss about the GitHub. And this image is good. You see that here, there's one guy, engineer, and he's having laptop, and he's committing in the laptop, that local repository. But the moment it is pushed to the GitHub, or it can be Bitbucket as well. So what happened? Then who detecting the push? So basically, GitHub is detecting the push. So who should trigger the job? GitHub should trigger the job, and that is how the job should be triggered. So the moment you push it to the GitHub should trigger the job, and this is called web hooks concept. Okay, and for that, here what I have designed is 5 steps tutorial, and this step number 1 you have to do that, then step number 2 you have to do that, followed by step number 3, and then step number 4 and step number 5. So if you want this functionality, this will definitely help you to get your work done for this. Okay, so this is one of the method which you do have it. Now this one which I'm going to do that right now. So here what is happening, this is something to trigger another job. After this job, we call it a car. You have to go to the post build action and build other projects. So what is that? So basically this is something which I've been talking about, integration between the phases. See, you have to integrate code with analysis, analysis with the build with the UT. So this integration, the one which was not there, okay, now we have to do that. So now how many jobs we have total? Let me go and check. So if you see that here, I have a total in our DevOps school, you have a 4 job. So we have a scan, we have a package, which will do the packaging, build and test. Each jobs will do the different task. Each jobs you can run manually also, but I want to integrate it. That means the moment code is committed, it should scan. After the scan, it should build. After the build, it should test. After the test, it should package. So that's the kind of strategy which I'm building in order to implement the CI. It's a full automation. It should not be dependent on the person. Everything should be automated. So what I'll do, I'll go to the scan, and here go to the configurations, go to the post build actions, and here in the post build actions you have build other projects, which is here, and this I'll call it scan, and save it and refresh it. See, upstream and downstream. So that means, oh my bad, sorry, scan will call build, right? Yeah, my bad. Here scan call build, it's a circular I created. Build, save it, refresh. Now see, downstream build. Okay, so scan will be trigger any of this method which I discussed here, uh, any of this method which you like it. Okay, but build will be triggered after the scan automatically. Okay, so let's go to the build, and same thing you do with the for the other projects, and go to this post build actions. Here build other projects, and here you have, okay, where's that? Here it is. So you go to that and do the test, and test, save it, refresh it, and here you see upstream is a scan and downstream is test. Now test should be linked to the package, last one, and go to the post build actions, and here call out this build other project, and here package, then save it, refresh, and build. Okay, so now what I have done, every projects I have linked it together. That means the moment the scan will be triggered, next one will be built, after the test, after that package. So it's like a things. So now what I'm going to do, I am going to run the scan manually, and in front of you I'm just doing it, and build. Done. Now if you see the build queue left side bottom section, you see that you have a scan is in progress right now. I'm refreshing manually. Okay, scan is in progress. Scan is in progress. Still is in progress. See, now build is in queue after the scan automatically. And you see test is in queue now. Test is in progress right now. See package last one, which is in queue now, and it will be done. So you see that here, how can you create a CI? So this is the exact CI which you should create it. Create all the jobs, integrate with all the tools, and schedule the first one, and you have a 7 8 conditions, and then rest of the things automatically it will happen and give you the immediate feedback. Remember, immediate feedback, and this is something which you wanted. Did you understand that, all of you? Hey, I'm in meeting right now. Can you come after 1 hour? After 1 hour, yes. Yeah. Did you understand, all of you?
Yes, Raj.
Okay. So this is something which you have to do. So this is called scheduling capability. Now, this is the one feature which is called immediate feedback. How do we get immediate feedback? So immediate feedback means what? See, any problems which is happening in the planning, coding, build, basically analysis, build, unit testing, packaging, archiving, or deployment to QA or acceptance testing, you should get immediate feedback. How do we get it? So immediate feedback, typically either you get an email, okay, either you get a Slack or chat, something like that, team chat, or if you're using something like WhatsApp or something, and or you get a dashboard. Okay, so these are the dashboard is for the feedback. Okay, so these are the three ways using that we can get a feedback. So how about emails? So emails, I think there's two plugins already installed. which you don't have to install it separately. It's already there, part of the core plugin. Let me show you. So if you go for installed plugin, search for mail, and you see that these two plugins installed. One is this one, email extension plugin, and here this is the second plugin, mailer plugin. Now if you read their documentations, you'll get it, but anyways, I'm here to talk about it. So how do we use it? So you have to go to the job. One is a basic and another one is advanced. Okay, so if you go to the job, configure the job, and go to the post bill actions here, and then here you have two options. If you look at it a little carefully, email notification, the one which I used it, which is a basic one. Okay, and that's a mailer plugin, the last one. And advanced one is this second one. So in advanced one, you get lots of options where you can customize from recipient list, to list, content type, subject, and attachment, and many other stuff. Actually, it's a pretty one, advanced one. But both the option which will work only if you configure the SMTP. Okay, so you can configure it here. It will deliver an email, but only in case of SMTP is configured. So what to do? So you have to go to the system, manage Jenkins and system, and you have to configure SMTP details. You have to discuss with your IT team and ask for SMTP server detail. Here it is. So this is the normal one, this is the basic one, and advanced one. If you see advanced plugin, here it is, this one here, extender. It's a pretty huge, actually, you see that. So depends on your requirement whether you want basic or advanced. You have a two plugins already given, not needed more than that. You can use it. So that's one of the way you can send an email. I mean, in case of failure or success or whatever it is. But let's say you want Slack or Team, what to do? So these plugins are not installed, so you have to install it. So can I go and check this out? So go to the plugins, available plugins, and let's say I'll go for Slack, and here, sorry, I clicked. I should install it. Slack, that's one. I know this, so immediately I select it. And there's one more which we use a lot in companies, like a team, Office 365 connector. So this is the two one which we can use it. So these two we have it, which typically, but by the way, you can go for Skype also, WhatsApp also. It's up to you what your organizations are using. So now first what we did, we install the plugins and I'm going to configure it. So if you go to the here system, you have to configure the Slack. So you have to discuss with the someone who's having the admin access of the Slack. Here it is. You have to specify the workspace name, and here Slack credentials, we have to store it. Okay. And then default channel and member ID name and so on. And that's done. And after that, once you configure it, you go to the job and configurations, go to the post build actions here, and here your options will come for Slack. You see Slack notifications. So when you want that Slack notified, Jenkins should notify the Slack, notify build start, success, aborted, not build, unstable, regression, every failures, and so on. So all these things you can do that as well. Okay, so this is something which you can implement. Now in case of teams, that you don't have to go to the manage Jenkins and system, but it will be option available in the jobs itself. uh, Basically this plugin, why this option is available in jobs, because this plugin has been written 6 years before, and then after that no one has modified. So that's the reason here you see in the job itself you will see that option. So add app hook, this is the teams information, and if you see that little bit advanced option, here you have all these notify options, when the Jenkins will notify in what scenarios. Okay, so these options are available in the Slack team chat and all, and so on. Now last option which we have for immediate feedback is dashboarding. Many people will call it a pipelining also. Pipeline, that means nowadays there's one concept which has come, and that the thing has come which is for everything as a code. That means no matter what you do, everything you should write a code. Whether you write create a package, you do the build, you do the scan, you do the testing, you do the anything, security audits, everything should be driven by the code. And that is where that this we call it a Jenkins pipeline. Okay, so Jenkins pipeline, how it works. So first of all, you have to write a code. Let me show you one example code here, and that typically you store that code in a Jenkins file. So where is that? So let me show you one code I have for demo in the same repo which I used in the first session. And here it is, Jenkins file 1. This is the code. Okay, look at this here. So this is the code. It's easy to understand. It's groovy actually. Okay, so it's groovy, and someone has to, first you have to learn manually everything, and then only you can do the stuff. So what I did, so if you remember that I compile this stuff, if you remember Maven compile, I did test, I did package, and some of the extra options we have here. So these all you converted in stages. So if you see that this is a scripted pipeline, there's one more pipeline which you have a declarative pipeline. So there are two types of pipeline which you have. A node, scripted pipeline is the one from the one which we write in Groovy, uh, and very, I mean, you have so much of options available which is from the Groovy. Declarative pipeline is the latest one which has recently introduced the Jenkins after the scripted pipeline, and that is also good and easy to understand that. So here this is a scripted one. How can you differentiate which is scripted one and which is a declarative one? So scripted one start with a node, and declarative one will start with a pipeline. Okay, that's the difference. So there is one beautiful book has been written by the community, because nowadays we are migrating towards the coding, right? Everything. If you just search for Jenkins pipeline and go for this one, see here, this is the book has been written, and complete informations you have here, few videos also. You see what is a pipeline, what is a node, what is stages, what is steps, all this thing. Okay, so this is something which you do that. So now you have this code and something like this stage called preparation. After the preparation, the next stage is build. After that, next stage is unit testing, and after this packaging, same thing which I did manually, and there's the results. Okay, so now in the preparation, what you do, so this is the comment, you can ignore it. Okay, so here you are doing that cloning. So git means here this is a plugin name. Okay, and this is the URL. So you can have a more parameters, but let's say username and password, this branch, that branch, and all, so you can have it. But this line will clone it. This is the stage. This whole thing is a one pipeline concept. This whole thing is one pipeline. Out of its multiple stages are there. One stage, second stage, third stage, and fourth stage, and fifth one. And each stage you have multiple steps. So here one step and two steps. Okay, so in these steps there's one git plugin will be called out. The same thing you did manually also, if you remember that, while creating a jobs. Let me show you, where is that, somewhere, here. So if you see that, if you do the job, any jobs, everything you do that in the jobs configuration is a step. Okay, see, you are checking out the code here, git, and do some sort of scheduling, do sort of a building, everything is a step. Okay, so fundamentally, so if you see that here, these are step number one, and here you are setting up the variable step number two, and you are setting a variable which is mbn home, and here it says tool maven. What is this? So tool means this one. Tool means, here it is, manage Jenkins, this one. And in that, do you have a maven set? So I don't have any maven set, so I will modify. And here Rajesh maven is there, so I want to make it maven. So you can change the code or this one, this up to you, and just name the match the name as per the code. Apply. So now here you have a tools maven. That means for this I'm setting up the ambient home is equal to maven. So two steps here in this stage, and here you are doing the some scripting. Some scripting links means if it's a Groovy script. So if is Unix is a built-in Groovy function which will check if it is Unix operating system, run sh, and if it is a Windows, run bat. What is sh means and what is a bat means? Sh means shell script, bat means Windows script. Let me show you. So this plugin steps are already there in Jenkins. Let me go to the any jobs, configurations, go to the build steps. And you see build steps under this, you have a sh execute shell. That's a sh. Delete it. Execute Windows somewhere batch. This is a batch. Okay, so here the same thing you are saying. Hey, sh, what do you want to do that? So some shell scripting for compilation. And if it's a Windows bat, maven home and then compiling. Similar concept here you have also under the UT test, test, packaging, and these two options we have where unit staging you want to connect with the JUnit results. So the JUnit plugin has been used and archive the plugin is used. This is for the post results, JUnit and archive. You want to see that? So JUnit is, let me show you this. Go to the post build actions. And here you see this is the JUnit plugin here, this one. You can show the JUnit test results using this plugin, and there's archive the artifacts. That means this way you can store any packages at Jenkins itself. So that's you can use this one. So same code you have here. So this kind of code you have to write it, and once the code is ready, you have to, let's say, copy this code. Okay, and this code I'm going to copy and create a pipeline. So let's go to create a pipeline. So I'm going to create a pipeline, new item, and this I'll name it pipeline itself, and not this one, but this one, pipeline. Okay, so click on it, click OK, and in these are some of the options which you have find in the each job. You can ignore it because we covered this one, but you have to go bottom section in here. So you want to embed the code here, or you have a pipeline code is somewhere in SCM. I have in SCM, but I want to ignore it and just want to put it here only. By the way, there are sample codes you have here also. You can use it. So this code is done, and then save it. That's all. So everything, whatever I did from last 2 hours, you are doing through the coding. That's all. So that's a different but both the pipelines. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes.
So just now build it and you see the pipeline will be created. So this what we did earlier I did manually. This time I did through the automation, and you see here there's one pipeline overview. See here, this is the pipeline start, preparation, build, UT, and all this thing will be there. Just wait for a few seconds, it will be taking time and completing. And you see the pipeline here also. See, so this is the console, multiple views are there. It's completed. Now look at the overview. See, done. So rebuild, and you have multiple pipeline, multiple things, and you can see that. So these are the pipeline code. See your stages, you can see here. See, build number 1, build number 2, build number 3. You can have a build number 4. So this first job, how do you do that? You can schedule it this one also, and it will keep happening. So that way you get a nice view of the pipeline. So where is the failure? You will come to know. Let's say I'm failing some jobs, so just to display the failure. So go to the code, and I'm failing some test. There is no as such goal available in Maven, and build now. And here, go to the stages, and you see the failure. It should look like test should fail. I'm just waiting for some failures red. Surprisingly, it's not failing. Did I saved it? Not failing. So let me check if I did saved or not. Sorry, I changed in the Windows. It should be changing in the Linux. Now it will fail. Well, now see failure. So this will like now UT has failed, and because of that there is a problem. So you should check this UT. So this is the coding standard which we do. Everything we started writing through code. Okay. So this is the one of the way to get a feedback saying that hey, we have a failure. So you can get an email, you can get a Slack chat or dashboard. So guys, did you understand that how the Jenkins is helping you to set up a CI?
So for writing the script, we need to learn Ruby. That is what you're telling, right? For stages.
Yes, I mean it's not that difficult though, but if you
Oh,
understand the concept, the syntax and all you have to learn from the Groovy.
oh, got it.
Yeah, because I mean you can understand this code, right? The one which I used it just now, so that's not a problem.
Yes, yes, I understood.
So that's the thing. Now some of the admin activities we should do that. So for example, if you go to Jenkins, let me just uh, here. So some of the admin activities, like if you go to the here, there is a notes here. You see, how do we add a notes? So I can add as many notes you wanted in a different machine. So let me take it out one notes, uh, CDOPT or TMP, CDEMP. Okay. So here, what you do? So mkdir Jenkins. I'm creating one directory, cd Jenkins. Okay. So now here, add a node, and node is Linux permanent agent here, and here you have to provide the directory. So this one, and what is the method? So it's as such. IP address you have to specify. Credential you have to specify username and password. So add Jenkins username and password. So your username is Rajesh, password Rajesh 123 and Rajesh, and save it. So select this. Now some options verification I just don't want, and some of the stuff. Now Rajesh user is not available, so I'll add it. User add Rajesh, PSWD Rajesh, enter, password Rajesh 123, Rajesh 123, done, and save it. And you see Linux relaunch agents. So like this you can add as many agents you wanted. What will happen in the directory? There will be one file created remote sensing, and it will be done. So by the way, I have not given access to this. So chmod 777 bad practice. I'm giving access to this. Access failed. So it will try again. So SSH connection failed. Okay, so it will try to log in and add as a nodes, and that nodes which you have, you will get it here. It's not added so far, still trying to. Okay, so after that, what you do after this is done, still not connecting. IP address is correct, 2085, and I have given all access Jenkins 755, and let me log into Rajesh at the rate of, manually I'm trying to see if it's working. Yeah, it's working. Rajesh 123. Yeah, it's working. But the problem is why it did not. So let me check this. And configurations. See, mistake. I put the wrong IP address here. It should be like this. So that was done. And now try to relaunch. See, done. Okay, so here you have a Jenkins folder. This will be having the configuration for all slave, and it'll be done. Okay, so there's one more. Let me check that saving is done. Yeah, correct. Okay, so this way you can connect this and still has not come. Launch. Now done. Now there's a different error is coming. So it has, okay, folder name is wrong. So let me configure. This is correct. What is error? And see the log error. It says home Rajesh not there. Okay, so home Rajesh is not there. So what I'll do, home Rajesh, I'll create it. ADIR home Rajesh ch own -r home, ch own Rajesh user creation and ch mode -r 7. Bad practice I'm doing just to fix that issue. Ch mode. Typically you should have created a user home directory, but I did not create it. Just to fix that issue and relaunch. Done. Okay, so now it's done, and you see here under the nodes, you see it's there. This icon is saying it's available. Now you go to the jobs, any jobs, and the moment you add extra nodes, those one options will be enabled, and that is here under the jobs. This option was not there earlier. The moment you add the node, you'll get it. And here you say which node you want to run it. Save it and build now. So now if you see the build number 7 and go to the console output, it has run in the Linux. So this is the way you can add a Linux, another nodes and so on. Now in terms of some security options here, you can add a users here, and more users you can add it and manage the credentials. So these are the things which you have. Any questions so far, all of you?
Have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devoxschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.